I'm Jake with World of Poland Billiards, and today I'll be taking a look at another shot from the great Efren Reyes. For this shot, I wasn't able to find any information on who Efren was playing or what he was playing in, but the original video is from a shot compilation that was uploaded by Club Billiard, which of course I will leave a link to their channel and the original video down in the description in case you guys want to check them out. Since I wasn't able to locate the original match, I can't be certain about what has happened up to this point in the rack, but I think it's safe to say that Efren's opponent broke dry, which is pretty common in 10 ball, and this is what Efren came to the table with. First, let's discuss what makes this position difficult. Well, the one ball obviously isn't hard to make. It's lined up well to the corner pocket with a slide angle to help send the cue ball down to the side of the table that the two ball is on, which is where we want to get, but with the four ball being so close to the one, as soon as the cue ball changes direction and starts to travel up table after making contact with the one, the four is going to be in the way and prevent us from getting shape on the two. So typically in a situation like this, it's better to just cut your losses and take a longer shot on the two, or maybe even play position to shoot an easy safe if you don't feel confident potting the two ball. First, let's discuss taking a longer shot on the two ball. My first instinct here is to play this shot with a bit of draw, come off of the four, and then leave myself a few inches off of the rail, but the eight ball is pretty much blocking that entire area of the table. The even riskier option of that is to play the shot with even a bit more bottom and try to come off the rail past the eight ball, but by the time you get there, the four may still even be in the way. The other option is to play the shot with just a little bit of follow and leave yourself with a really thin cut on the two ball, or position to bank the two ball back to this short rail and leave the cue ball behind the 3, 6, and 5. Efren, however, quite literally plays this game in a dimension which I think it's safe to say that most players wouldn't even consider. Who needs to worry about problem balls when you can just jump over him? And that's exactly what he does. He hits the cue ball at an angle, forcing it to jump into the air. It makes contact with the one, cutting it into the corner pocket, and the cue ball is sent further into the air, over the four ball, and towards the five. But before hitting the five ball, it lands, and then the bottom right English that he put on the cue ball, while doing all of this, takes redirecting the cue ball down the table for a position on the two. But anyways, now it's my turn. So I get down for my first attempt, and it's not a total failure. I managed to get over the edge of the four ball, but I had nowhere near enough bottom right to even change the direction of the cue ball. So on my second attempt, I try to get a bit more bottom on the cue ball, but it's still not enough. For my first few attempts, I was a little worried that the cue ball wouldn't jump if I hit it too low, but I start to get a bit more comfortable with jumping over the four ball, considering I got it done both times that I tried, and I really try to dig into the cue ball and get a lot of bottom. And it pays off, and I get decent position on the two, and it's only my third try. And I would call this a success, but I want it to look a bit more like the original where he goes down between the 5 and the 8 ball. So on attempt number 4, I try to put a bit less bottom to even out the angle a bit, but I end up coming up a bit short of ideal shape. I go back and forth for a little while trying to balance the speed that I hit the shot at and the English that I'm hitting it with, but I don't ever really get it to work until I give myself a bit more angle to work with on attempt 10. I only change the position of the cue ball by about half an inch or 1 centimeter, but that little bit of extra angle makes all the difference, as the cue ball is traveling more towards the 5 ball after contact with the 1 than towards the 9 ball like on my first couple of attempts. This tells me that the way that I am setting up the table now more accurately reflects the shot that Efren had to shoot. With a little bit of extra angle that I have now, it is a lot easier to get down table for shape on the 2, and I have something that looks pretty similar to what Efren shot on attempt 13. If I just had a little bit more bottom, it would have been perfect. Unfortunately, I end up with an unmakeable shot on the 2, and so I go for it one last time. Finally, I get what I'm looking for on attempt 14. It doesn't go all the way down to the bottom rail like Efren's shot did, but I would argue that this is better position than what he ended up with. This is the part where I usually show myself running out the rest of the rack, but I ended up dogging the 3 ball.